Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve everything they dream of while most struggle to get by? What is it about the top 1% that sets them apart from the rest of us? Let me ask you, 1, is it luck? 2, is it privilege? Or is there something they're doing differently that the rest of us aren't even aware of? Today, we're diving deep into what separates the elite 1% from everyone else. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the habits, mindsets, and strategies of the top 1%, but you'll also discover how to adopt them to start transforming your own life. So, are you ready to join the 1%? Section 1, the mindset of the top 1%. The first thing that sets the top 1% apart isn't their bank account, it's their mindset. Let me ask you this. Do you believe your success is limited by your circumstances? Or do you believe that success is something you can create, regardless of where you start? Here's the truth. The 1% operate with what's called an asterisk growth mindset asterisk. They see challenges as opportunities, not obstacles. While most people avoid failure, they embrace it. Why? Because they know every failure is a step towards success. Think about this. How do you respond when things don't go your way? Do you give up or do you adapt and try again? The top 1% believe in their ability to learn, grow, and improve, and that belief changes everything. Section 2, the power of relentless focus. Here's a harsh truth. Most people fail because they try to do too much. They chase too many goals, spread themselves too thin, and end up achieving nothing. But the 1%, they have a laser-sharp focus. They identify what matters most and pour their energy into it. So let me ask you, what's your number 1 priority right now? If I asked you to name the one thing that would make the biggest difference in your life, could you answer? If you can't, that's a problem. The 1% know exactly what they want, and they're willing to sacrifice everything else to get it. Are you? Section 3, discipline over motivation. Have you ever started something with tons of motivation, only to give up a few weeks later when the excitement wore off? Be honest, how many times has that happened to you? Here's what the 1% understand that most people don't. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline is forever. Think about this. How many days have you skipped the gym because you didn't feel like going? How many opportunities have you missed because you were waiting to feel motivated? The 1% don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems, routines, and discipline. They show up even when they don't feel like it. And that consistency is what creates success. Section 4, the ability to delay gratification. Here's a skill that separates the 1% from the 99%, the ability to delay gratification. Let me ask you, when was the last time you chose short-term pleasure over long-term success? How often do you prioritize what feels good now over what will benefit you in the future? The 1% play the long game. They're willing to sacrifice now to reap the rewards later. For example, they invest money instead of spending it. They work on their skills instead of wasting hours on social media. They say no to distractions so they can say yes to their dreams. So ask yourself, are you willing to wait for the big rewards, or are you settling for the small wins right now? Section 5, continuous learning and adaptation. Here's a shocking statistic. The average person stops learning new skills after their early 20s, but the 1%, they never stop. Think about this. When was the last time you learned something new? How much time do you spend each week improving yourself reading, taking courses, or practicing a skill? The 1% are obsessed with growth. They're constantly learning, adapting, and staying ahead of the curve. They don't just react to change, they create it. So let me ask you, what's one skill you could start learning today that would change your future, and why haven't you started yet? Section 6, building the right network. Have you ever heard the saying, your network is your net worth? It's true. The 1% understand that success isn't a solo journey, it's a team effort. Let me ask you, who do you spend the most time with? Are they inspiring you to be better or holding you back? The 1% surround themselves with people who challenge, support, and elevate them. They build relationships with mentors, peers, and even competitors who push them to grow. So here's a challenge. Look at your inner circle. Are they helping you become the best version of yourself? If not, what are you going to do about it? Section 7. Taking massive action. Let's get real. How many ideas have you had that you never acted on? How many dreams have you let slip away because you were waiting for the right time? Here's the thing, the 1% don't wait. They don't overthink. They act. Ask yourself, what's one idea you've been sitting on for months, maybe even years? What's stopping you from taking action right now? The top 1% understand that success isn't about having the best idea, it's about execution. They know that the fastest way to learn is to start, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect. So what's stopping you from taking that first step today? Section 8. Resilience in the face of failure. Let's talk about failure. How do you handle it? Most people see failure as the end. The 1% see it as the beginning. Think about this. How many times have you quit because something didn't work out the way you wanted? What would happen if you saw failure as feedback instead of defeat? The 1% understand that every setback is a setup for a comeback. They don't let failure define them, they let it refine them. So let me ask you, what failure are you letting hold you back right now? And how can you turn it into a stepping stone? So here's the big question. Do you have what it takes to join the 1%? It's not about where you come from. It's not about how much money you have. It's about the choices you make every single day. Ask yourself, are you willing to adopt the mindset of growth? Are you ready to focus relentlessly on what matters? Will you commit to discipline, learning, and action even when it's hard? The path to the top isn't easy, but it's worth it. And the good news, it's never too late to start. If this video inspired you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more life-changing content. Remember, the only thing standing between you and your dreams is action. So what will you do today to join the 1%?